All right, here we go. Hello, everyone. I am Nathan P. Butler. This is my YouTube channel. You can find on this YouTube channel stuff like from the Star Wars Home Video Library, reviews of Fantasy Flight games, Star Wars game materials, Nate's favorite deck building games, if you're into deck building games and stuff like that. Lots of stuff here. I can also be heard on Cloud City Casino, a Star Wars gaming podcast with Michael Morris over at StarWarsReport.com. And also on StarWarsReport.com, I can be heard with Mark Herleman talking about Star Wars legends and canon stories in Star Wars Beyond the Films. I'm also the author of a saga on home video, a fan's guide to U.S. Star Wars home video releases, which you can find on Amazon and elsewhere. And I'm the guy behind the Star Wars Timeline Gold, etc., 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 which is over at StarWarsFanWorks.com/timeline. Okay, all that early stuff out of the way to give everybody a chance to, kind of see that the little notifications going up and all that kind of stuff. I've spent a long time today sending out a lot of targeted emails to students to kind of check in, both the good and bad. Kind of my brain is mush. So having done that pretty much straight through since first thing this morning, giving myself about an hour, give or take, with about, it's about 4:30 is when the kids are going home. So I've got kind of a dead space in the afternoon a lot of times. So finally going to get a chance to jump into the new quasi-progression system. And no, that is all memorized. I've said it so freaking many times, it ain't even funny. Now, scripted is like the beginning or end of Beyond the Films. And what happens usually is Mark's talking about it is like at StarWarsReport.com or whatever, right? And the way that he says it. Last thing I want to mention to you, our Audible trial, and so on and so on. I'll have my side muted so he can't hear it, and I'll be just right as he's saying it, I'm either saying it with him in exaggerated tones, or I'm mocking it, or I'm just like, because I've already heard it a million times. Because it is not pre-recorded. He actually says that every single freaking time we record. Anyway. So, we are on the day of patch numero dos, well, 2.0 at least, so it's a huge patch, and this is the one rolling out step 1 of the progression system stuff. Just to give you a sense here of how much stuff has changed and how much stuff has been updated for patch 2.0. All the progression stuff, they completely left out of the patch notes. They're just like, dude, just see the blog, see the frequently asked questions over here. We don't have the space. So I've done a lot of heroes versus villains balancing this time around. They've balanced things like spawn locations. I mean, seriously, this is the patch notes right here. Normally I would try to go through them all, but check this out. This is the patch notes. It just goes and goes and goes. So, not going to dig too much into the patch notes this time. Suffice to say, if you're interested in them, go to the Battlefront forum on EA or just search Battlefront 2 forum. Go there, go to just the general Star Wars tab up at the top, and you can go to game updates and actually see the full patch notes. And it's got links to the blog about the new progression system and to the frequently asked questions. I just want to kind of see how it's going in action here. So let's see. Go to collection, check out Leia's hair. Okay, I will do that. After a match, or if you restart the game, you'll get crates with credits for the old milestones. Interesting. Cool. All right, so just jumping in here on For the Record, because I know we just got a little notification up there. I'm generally not going to be jumping in and into sessions in the middle of trying to do the stream unless it is something that's been prearranged well in advance, in which case I'll usually have that person with me already, and then we'll jump into it together. Because if I try to leave the screen to address anything like that, like a friend request or a session request or something, it'll make it so that nobody can see anything while I'm doing that, and sometimes it'll kill the stream. It just kind of depends. All right, so up here on the top, we've got our 5 options now. We got home, okay, we got play, so far so good, collection, so far so good, career with our milestones and whatnot, and then options. So far, nothing too crazy. I do find it interesting that, now that I screwed it back, you have 1 or more skill points to use on your characters. Head to the collection screen to unlock or upgrade a star card. Ooh. Okay. I find it interesting that my crafting parts are still up there. I thought the idea was that crafting parts went away and were translated into skill points already, but it still says I have 80. I have unopened crates. Hello, Logan, also. Let's see what's in the unopened crates this time, because, again, they have removed the regular crate system. Eventually we will get a crate system that we can use with credits or with crystals to get new appearances, but it's all cosmetic stuff, or new emotes and stuff like that. But as of today, they're on like rollout step 1. And rollout step 1 is basically sort of freeze things where they are and start pulling the stuff out that needs to come out, add a few new things in to kind of mollify people, and then they'll push them in. Manually converted. There you go. Where is that? I'm assuming that's on the collection screen I haven't gone to yet. But okay, so this login crate contains credits. The daily login crates, they said, are going to contain just credits from here on out. So, I mean, it's nice that it's more credits than we used to get, but that means you're not getting a card or a duplicate card that could give you credits each time, plus crafting parts, which won't exist anymore, plus credits. It's just credits each time, which is okay. You know, I mean, as long as it's a fair amount. I'm sure people will be griping, but whatever. Alright, so unopened crates now. I have an infinite number of unopened crates. Don't you see? Isn't that the infinity? Kinda? No? Oh well. It's more like I have 0, 0. But still, it kind of looks like I have an infinite number of unopened crates. Alright, so let's see. Collection, we said we were checking out Leia? Alright. Alright. Oh, what the? Interesting. What? They just like randomly changed Leia's hair. So Boba's still normal. Looks normal, but I mean, how could you really change them? Iden. Be nice if we had an Iden that was helmetless. Although I'm sure that'll be one of our. Yeah, she didn't have any appearance options yet. I'm sure that'll be something that'll wind up as an appearance cosmetic item in a crate. You notice here, for those who haven't seen it yet, as I'm scrolling through these, notice that right next to their name up there now is that's that Luke Skywalker thing that I just unlocked like last week. It was that other appearance you could unlock by doing the 3 challenges. But notice next to the name of the character is a symbol that has the number in it. That is telling you the level of that character or ship or whatever. By the way, screw us if we spent a ton of credits on unlocking characters in the past, because as of today, all existing characters and ships that are already in the game have been freely unlocked to everyone. So all those tens of thousands of credits that we all spent to unlock them prior to now, basically that was just to give us a little bit of a head start in using them, because now you can get to them from everybody. Alright, so we've got our levels. Let's say my levels are all over the place because I've got some characters that I never hardly even played as, but I got a bunch of cards for them. That is something that is changing now. So now, as you level up with a character, you do that by playing with them, or by a class or a type of ship or whatever. It's not going to be like, okay, I played a ton with, say, Specialist, but now I want to really jump into Heroes versus Villains and play as Kylo Ren. Well, okay. In the past, you earn a bunch of credits as a Specialist, spend that on crates, get yourself some crafting parts if need be, and you unlock various cards for Kylo Ren and can build him up in the background without actually playing as him. So by the time you do play as him, you've got a fair number of star cards there so you don't get your ass kicked. That is gone. You have to play as that character to be able to level up with that character from here on out. None of this fungible, transferable kind of thing going on, which is kind of suckage. Let's see. Yeah, it's very much like what Galaxies did at one point, where they kind of revamped their whole system. It reminds me, actually, more recently, Eve Valkyrie. Eve Valkyrie revamped their system big time to be more user-friendly right around the same time that they made it so you could play Eve Valkyrie outside of VR. Although, I love Eve Valkyrie because I can play, he says as he runs across the room. I can play that Eve Valkyrie in VR with this sucker. Oh, yeah. That is really fun. Same thing if you've got a racing wheel to play something like Drive Club VR as well. So Leia apparently... Well, one, I don't have a card attached. Oh, interesting. Your star cards. Star cards can boost or replace character abilities. Blah, blah, blah. You get them as through skill points. Okay. Okay. So that says 2, 2, 5, 10. So that's telling you what level the character has to be in order to unlock, and you have to have a skill point to do it. I do like the new borders, though. I guess it's lighting up the ones that you have chosen, so yeah, that's nice, because you can see it a little bit better which ones are actually equipped better than you could before. Cool. But yeah, so each card's back is going to tell you what level you have to be to unlock it, and then to unlock where it says 0-1, it's how many skill points, but it won't actually light up white to let you do it until you have a skill point. That's kind of cool, although kind of weird that you can't see the image on the card anymore until you actually get it. Now, one side tells you the skill point or the level you must be, and the other side doesn't. But this is taking away the whole issue of you have to have your account at a certain rank and have a certain card level to be able to craft cards or upgrade cards of a certain level, and the randomness of getting cards through crates. So they've kind of taken away the randomness of the loot box type aspect, taken away the weird sort of double progression that was needed, and now made it a single progression that is specific to a class. It's a very different system, quite frankly, a very different one. Let's see. I'm trying to see what I've missed here. Let's see. You're talking about galaxies, right? The hair to go with the comic hair. Well, maybe. Just seems a little odd to me, but okay. And appearances, we will have a time challenge to give her the Hoth appearance soon. So just like with Luke, we'll have a time challenges that we can do basically just to get a look that the character already had in the first Battlefront. Interesting. Although I am curious who else has new appearances coming. Click, click. I'm assuming none of these. You already have 2 different appearances for Kylo Ren because you have the one from the pre-order. Still just emotes. 3 Hans. Yeah, so there is going to be the Han Hoth. They just haven't put the challenge out yet. Smuggler is the one where you do the last of the milestones. I still have characters I haven't even added cards to, it seems like. I don't care. Just pick something. I'll worry about it later. Yeah, ship's kind of the same way, where you're going to have your cards here to unlock based on your level. And then upgrading actually is the same kind of thing. Oh, I like that. You have already equipped 3 cards, so it at least will tell me, so I got to turn one off to turn the other one on, presumably. But your upgrading for skill points is now listed underneath there, and it's just 1 skill point per, it looks like, regardless of whether you're trying to upgrade it from common to uncommon, uncommon to rare, or rare to epic. So that's cool. So it's not like, you know, like what I was doing with the crafting parts, you know, if you wanted to get something up to epic, it was ridiculously expensive, as opposed to, say, just unlocking 1 card or moving it up to uncommon. So now, in essence, they've made it cheaper, relatively speaking, to upgrade up to that highest tier, so you can really focus on the cards that you want, rather than otherwise, which is good. Any time challenges for today? Yes, but not... Emote 10 times. Are you kidding me? Awesome. Defeat 10 enemies in Blast. So I guess I'll do Blast, and then I'll do some emoting, and I'll get my ass kicked because I won't be really paying attention. Alright, and then we're supposed to have... whatchamacallit back. We're supposed to have Jetpack, whatever the hell it's called, back, but apparently that is not the case yet. I sure don't see it. And I will point out, in arcade, for those who are into that, I'm not actually going to play a scenario. I just want to start one here so you can see what's going on. But when you open up arcade, you should now, I'm confirming here, you should now be able to have, you should be able to have access to all of the cards, plus they're all at epic level already for arcade, because it's not like you're playing against another human, which should hopefully make some of the more insane arcade milestones a little easier to deal with. Some of the more insane challenges, I guess, to help you towards the milestones. Like, I know my buddy Jim, I'm pretty sure, has finished all of the general milestones, which includes the ones about something about arcade, if I remember correctly. There was something that he did recently. I was like, holy crap, I can't believe he spent all the time to do that, but he managed to do it. All right, let's see. Ray lipstick on, I guess, Kylo's cheek. Yep, since you don't have the different card levels for the individual characters, the number of card slots essentially are just open to begin with. It's more just a matter of, do you have 3 cards to fill in 3 slots? Great, then use them. Which is yet another kind of tweak to that. But yeah, if you check out the cards here, you'll notice all epic. Right? Or if I choose to be Leia, all epic. If I choose to be specialist, all epic. Right? So whatever you want to do in arcade, you're going to be given your epic abilities. Although it kind of makes me wonder... Now watch this thing die on the way back to the menu. It kind of makes me wonder, because I haven't looked yet, if when you do your custom arcade, if you have the ability to tune that down. If it's like you either have all epic star cards or you have none by just unequipping them, or if you can actually tell it what's the maximum star card level you want to have available to you for a custom arcade mode. Han and Carbonite skin. Only if, as soon as you get on there, it shakes and he busts out and it starts playing the solo song from Kinect Star Wars where he's singing about, now that the Carbonite's off me, I'm living life now that I'm free, and so on and so on. You know how they told him to get his act together, now he got his act together. Now he made it through the weather, better days, or never mind. Let's see, custom arcade, I'm not going to actually start one, but let's see, game mode, location, start time, learn, play as, blah, 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 blah. No, they have not changed that. So it's basically, it looks like if you're playing in arcade, it's either you're using the star cards at epic level or you're not using them at all. So if you want more challenge, you just drop them, I guess. But, okay. So, let's go. Didn't change anything in the campaign, I'm assuming. Collection. Holy shnikes! What the hell just happened? All of a sudden, they all have their little tags on them. I guess because there's stuff... Oh, wait. That's weird. Why did they... Oh, I guess because once I went onto the page and off, it then registered their levels, so it flipped over any that I can unlock so I can see what they are. I was like, what the hell was that? Alright, whatever. I'm not going to go to each of those and make it not have the little yellow dot, because that is kind of ridiculous. So, multiplayer. Let's go into... I might as well do Blast, since that's one of the daily challenges for 1,000 credits. And at this point, we're just saving our credits, right? Because we're not able to spend the credits on anything. All the characters and stuff you would have spent credits on are already unlocked now. All of the supply crates that you would have spent credits on are gone. So you're basically at a point where credits just are going to build until you can use them later. I am curious, where do I change... Because, again, this is the first time I've had a chance to jump on today. When do you manually change those crafting parts out? Somebody said how... I think it was official. It was official Aveda, I think, said that crafting parts have to be manually changed. How is that? Because I still got 8 of them just kind of sitting there. Come on! Oh, it will happen in April. Okay, I thought it was they will be manually you can manually change them like now. Gotcha. That's why I was like, where's the option? Wait, why will they need to why would you need to manually change them anyway? Or is it that you're manually changing them and putting them towards levels of individual classes so you can... Yeah, that's probably what it is, so you can get the thingamabobs. Okay, let's go to Specialist. With that awesome, awesome sniper rifle that I love so much. Go, 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 go!
Forces entering the area on Jakku. Give them no quarter.
No dimes or nickels either. Pennies are okay. You could give them some pence, but that's British and we don't actually know how that works.
All according to plan.
Get that thing out of here. Bow, bow. I kind of like the way this one looks when you don't have the scope on it, where it's got just kind of that weird little thing popping up at the top. Is it snowing? Oh god, no. It's been cold, and we've had storms, but it's not snowing here. Thankfully, the Atlanta area has been spared that. But we're going to be visiting my family in Indiana soon, and they just got snow on the first day of spring, so that sucks. Oh, yeah? You want some? Ah, crap. Ah! Oh, I thought I was going to escape getting killed by the turret, and it actually was the turret that got me. 17 inches, good lord. Wow, see, I spent my parts to unlock a bunch of cards because I was just like, I'm going to get these cards unlocked so I don't have to spend skill points on them. What I think about the complaints of Star Wars being diverse. I actually thought about dealing with that on a, in whatchamacallit, thought about dealing with that on a vlog, but I was like, no, it'll just get a bunch of... It'll give me alt Legends people, and it'll give me alt-right people going nuts, so, you know, that'd be awesome. I think that diversity in Star Wars is a good thing, because of the idea that you should be able to see yourself, or people like you, in stuff that you enjoy, especially something that's produced for sort of a general audience. That said, why wouldn't it have been necessary to be as diverse, say, in the 60s, or 60s, say in the 70s, say in the 80s? Well, at those times, in general, we didn't tend to define ourselves in quite the same way. Like now, if you ask somebody to define themselves, or if we ask society to define someone, it must be based on gender, race, or sexual preference. I mean, those are the only ways you can define people, right? At least according to modern society, it seems like. But that means that in order to show diversity now, it's not by character trait, it's not by attitude, it's not by position in society, it's by race, gender, or sexual orientation most of the time. But I think where Disney has sort of shot themselves in the foot to some degree with the extreme, oh, you're all social justice war, blah, you know, the extreme right, not regular right, but the extreme right, all the way up to the alt-right, is the fact that in making the casts diverse of their most recent... That's true. In making their cast diverse for, say, Rogue One and... Actually, the 3 movies that are out so far from the Disney stuff, except for Solo, they sort of shot themselves in the foot because they went with a definition of diversity that's not actually diverse, technically. Because diversity should be a little bit of everybody, right? Their version of diversity has been, diversity means non-white, non-male leads. And it's fine to have non-white, non-male leads. But they also left out, like, there aren't any white male heroes in those films. They're either the bad guys or the corrupt guys, or they are of a later generation, like, say, Luke, as opposed to being part of the current, this new generation that they're bringing in. I'm wondering, you know, for instance, if alongside Rey and Finn and Poe, if there had been a white male character of the same age group, would the complaints have been as loud? Because then it would have been diverse in an actual diverse sense, not a diversity means include these, don't include these. It makes me wonder if hopefully, at least some of the craziness on the whole diversity bitch fight that's going on will finally have eased up after Solo, because Solo, by definition, has a white male lead because that's who Han Solo was. They won't be able to say, oh, well, none of the new Star Wars movies have a white male in them as a main character of that generation. Well, no, actually, now you've got Solo. Now how are you going to gripe? And the same thing, like, if they say, well, a new character that's maybe an older white male, because we don't have those. Woody Harrelson, bruh. Woody frickin' Harrelson. Just chill out. It's just one of those things. It's like any other thing in society, though. Usually if you have some level of, whether it's discrimination or lack of inclusion of something, even if we're not even talking about human beings, a lot of times the idea is an overcorrection, and you do the opposite. It's the same as, like, you know, you look at South Africa after apartheid. For a while there, it was sort of a reverse racism rather than we are getting rid of racism. It was, we have been the oppressed, now we will be the oppressors for a short time. And history's kind of learned that mistake, but we still keep repeating it as you know, human beings. And it's kind of the same thing in entertainment. You've got this, you know, this overcorrection. It'll eventually even itself right back out. And, you know, one of the things you'll notice these days with the current generation of kids, the iGen kids, as they call them, they don't even tend to think in terms, a lot of times, of race. Like, they did a study, and the study was basically, would you, it was to figure out who, and I'm getting my ass kicked, but I guess we're still winning, so whatever. It was, oh, I got to do those emotes. You're right. Yes! Yes! It was that basically, yes! They asked the question of who would find it preferable to live in a diverse area, or preferable to live in an area with people of other, it's either races or ethnic groups, however they phrased it, right? And what they wound up discovering is that it looked like, holy crap, this young generation is racist as hell. Because they kept rating that as a low preference. Until they actually interviewed the people who were doing the survey, and the response wasn't, we don't want to live in a diverse area, it's that we don't think it matters. We don't think race should be a consideration, that ethnicity should be a consideration. What does that have to do with an individual, and whether you want that individual in your community? That's asinine. So they were kind of, it's not that the generation is post-race per se, but they are the most post-race generation we've ever seen. So maybe eventually that evens itself back out. But I think Disney's made some missteps, but they've been kind of blown out of proportion. But I think we're going to reach a point where it'll even itself back out anyway. And I'd like to think that Solo will be a part of doing that, you know. You're never going to be able to get all the a-holes out of your society. And you're probably never going to get racism completely out of a society. But as time goes on, you see the mitigating factors start to fade and stuff like that. Just as a history teacher, I'm left, despite as crazy as it is now, where it seems like everybody's just insane and the internet is just a cesspool of garbage, I'm more hopeful than not. And that's just because, you know, as a student of history, things get better. You know? You go through crap, it sucks, and then things get better.
The First Order cannot be defeated.
Let's see. Okay. Whew. Yay! Just got confirmation. I'm getting a new work computer because my old one has been around for a very long time, still running on Windows 7, and I teach online, so we should have more top-of-the-line stuff than that. They're finally swapping it out, so I just finally got confirmation that our old docking ports that let me use 2 monitors when I work will work with the new one. Okay, so now it's 5-5. Now I need to actually not get my ass kicked. Uh-oh! Sorry, guys. If we lose, it's my fault because I really haven't been paying much attention at all, so. My apologies to the First Order, to the space neo-Nazis. The space neo-Nazis just lost. Although, really, is that such a bad thing? Not so much.
This wreckage is not worth the effort.
I have no idea what that is. Is that like River Thames, where it's like river in front of it? As opposed to in the U.S., where it would be like Thames River? I still didn't do all the emotes. I don't even know how many emotes I just did. I'll just do a few more emotes. Why not? Oh, that's weird. Specialist just got that much. Interesting. So I guess your personal rank doesn't matter anymore, right? If it has nothing to do with actual progression. Challenges. Emote. Yeah, 1 in Blast. Yeah, sucked. I should probably be using anything other than Specialist when I'm playing Blast. Although Great Temple, maybe. Great Temple's a decent, assuming it's what I'm thinking it is, that it's Yavin 4, that might actually be a good place to do it. Abused or amused with... Abused with agriculture is like what happened to Rey whenever Luke pulled the trick on her and then slapped her about reaching out. That's abuse with agriculture. I'm assuming you're meaning amused with agriculture? Although, you never know. Reminds me of the old Weird Al song about how, You know, once there was this boy who took a trip to Singapore and brought along his spray paint and that whole thing back when they were caning the guy. Let's try assault and let's maybe not suck as much. I am using that gun that I don't particularly like, but I'm trying to get the kills with it to get the next step for it, because I think whatever the next step is will actually make for a better weapon. I got the reduced recoil finally. I don't even think I've used it since I got the reduced recoil, but I still have a long way to go to get the improved range on it. I like that when the sniper, quasi-sniper configuration of that weapon. I just don't really like it for assault class. How do I see The Last Jedi being viewed years from now as not nearly as
Imperial troops are coming in fast.
divisive as it is today? I would assume that it's going to be, you know, it'll be kind of just the way it is. It'll probably still be controversial to some degree. Ah, bastard. To some degree, but not nearly as much as today. Do I think Kylo Ren killed Bambi's mother in Bambi? No, and that doesn't make sense to me, so I'm assuming there's a context that I missed somewhere. Alright, it's Kybo Renshaw. Speaking of which, for those of you who watch from the Star Wars Home Video Library, got a couple new things in today, and got a couple things that came in a few days ago, so episodes will be done sometime soon. For the UK Seasons 1 through 5 set of the Clone Wars, the French version of that actually comes with a Yoda Funko Pop built in. Plus the UK 2006 version of the Trivial Pursuit Star Wars game, where there's no board or anything, but it's got the DVDs of questions and all. And what was the other one? The South Korean 2D plus 3D Collector's Edition of Force Awakens. I'll have all those to show on the show. Those are actually sitting in the other room, but I got a couple more that are on the way to me in the mail that I'm hoping will come in before the next round of recording. And then I'll, at some point, I will also probably record a video that gives my reasons for why the Star Wars Timeline Golds edition for 2018 coming out this summer will probably be its last. For those who hadn't heard about that yet. Uh-oh! They're coming right for us! Woo! Grenade out! Damn it! Damn it, rookie! Stop wasting them explosives! Damn! I feel like this gun takes a lot longer to zoom in than most of the other ones do. Maybe it's just me. But like the separation between hold down the button, like if I do this, I'm fine. But if I actually try to use the scope, it seems like it takes forever to zoom in, relatively speaking, which is not good. So I guess I'll go back to third person if I'm going to be using this guy. Shocked they were getting 17 inches. That's what she... Never mind. Anyway. Woo! Oh, crap. He's using his sentry mode. And I still got... Well, kill assist, at least. See why I'm paying at least a little bit of attention. Attention. I can't multitask like that. I can multitask sometimes, but not so much now. I'll tell you what I started doing a while back was I was listening to some of my oldest podcasts, the old Chrono Radio stuff, while I was playing. Not on stream or anything, just while I was playing. And my thought was that someday it would be interesting maybe to revisit those and take some of those segments and kind of listen to them and be like, what the hell was I thinking? Especially that first episode, man, that was rough. The one in which I declared Attack of the Clones the best Star Wars movie I'd ever seen because it was the day it came out.
They can be defeated. We're proving that now.
I can multitask on some things, but if I'm playing a video game, I can't multitask very well. I can listen to something and play, but listening and following the chat is tough enough without me trying to actually pick the right words, you know? We got words. We got the best words. They're fantastic words. Words like settlement. Words like golden shower. They're the best words. And they don't cost that much either. I'm sorry, I'm being told by my press secretary I shouldn't have said that out loud. Should have used my indoor voice. No, excuse me, my inside voice. Have I watched Jungle Book yet? Nope! Don't really have any interest in it, so I haven't ever gotten to it. Although, for those who don't know, we're having a baby! And I'm sure that, I probably just blew out people's ears, my apologies. But as soon as the child is born and old enough to start understanding movies, chances are we're going to be drowning in Disney movies. I can already tell. Which is funny, because my wife has seen very few of them, because her childhood was very sort of a grow up fast. And then, just a very different atmosphere, more sports-oriented than anything kiddie-oriented, with boxing and watching a lot of hockey. So I got a feeling we're going to be loaded up with them, but a lot of them she won't have seen yet. Like, I was the one who had to introduce her to Aladdin, of all things. I mean, come on. Who doesn't grow up with Aladdin? Damn. This thing shoots too slow. Online classes are great depending on the platform. Like, I love teaching what I teach, and the platform that we have for it is pretty awesome. But there are sometimes you'll run into some classes that are just terribly, terribly organized. Like, my master's classes were all online, and that they were, yeah, they really needed to up their game on the platform they were using. Ah! Kill him! General Veer's wannabe. Ooh, it's green. Ooh, it's green. What was I just playing where green meant almost death? Oh, yeah, Shadow of War. I'm still working my way slowly through Middle-earth's Shadow of War. I thought I'd reached near the end, and I guess I got a lot to go. Once I get that done, I think I've only got one other game that's sitting there really for me to play all the way through on my Xbox One, I think, which is Titanfall 2 that I got at about the same time. And just... I've never spent the time with it. Oh, crap! Saw that coming! Kaboom!
Got your back.
Got your back. Which I guess you could have said back in the day to one of the Transformers Pretenders, right? I've got your back, because literally the back and the front split off of the characters. To open them up and reveal the Transformer inside. Son of a crap. I need to get the upgrade that improves the range, because I think that's what's happening is because the range is short on that gun and I'm using it at a longer range than it's meant to be, I'm not as able to strafe it just a little bit and still stay on the target. It tends to overshoot if I strafe it to the side. I'm betting that's part of that range improvement upgrade you can get. Die! Uh-oh!
Get back now!
I'll get back. I'm sorry. I need to change my emotes. My emotes suck. That's 1, 2. Milestone completed. Oh, I like that. I like the way that looks now, because it just didn't look very cool when you would do Originally, they wouldn't show you that you completed a milestone, and then they would show you, but it didn't look cool. Now they show you, and it looks cool. That's what I'm trying to say. And so, the Arbiter won the day. Wait, wrong game. Speaking of Arbiter winning the day, though, that's a game I really need to get back into. Killer Instinct. I love Killer Instinct. I started reading the comics, and the comics kind of suck, but I love Killer Instinct. But I don't play much on my 360. I mean, this is only sitting out at all because I was playing Shadow of War last night trying to get that thing finished. My 360, my Xbox One. Why am I saying 360? My Xbox One is basically a glorified 4K player right now. Administrators. Ah, finally! Bespin! Yeah! Hello, Bespin. Goodbye. Anybody? Anybody? I think the diversity thing is something that is, it's more on the minds of younger people because of just sort of the culture at the moment. But it's also more on the minds of people who have traditionally been left out or not been able to see themselves in a particular scenario. But I think it's one of those things that's kind of become a flashpoint now. So sick of the world culture. Well, culture is a thing. Like, culture is context. Unless you're thinking like Trek, context is for kings. Ooh, how do you like that? Discovery reference. So now I can piss off people who don't like The Last Jedi and who don't like Discovery. Wow. It's pretty. It's so pretty. I want to see this in HDR. I'm going to be trying this out in HDR later.
The advantage
Cool.
is ours. Use it.
And it's this and Heroes versus Villains, though. So I thought Rose was pretty good. Like, Rose was just amusing. Somebody who's like a big flash of hope. A character representing hope, as opposed to it being, we're just going to say the word hope a ton. Sorry! One thing I don't like about them adding this to the game for Heroes vs. Villains and for Blast is that those are the only modes. I think it'd be really cool to play some of the other modes, but the old game modes fit this, and the new game modes don't really all that much, except maybe if they were to do something, say, with Strike, perhaps. Like Galactic Conquest, or Galactic Conquest. Galactic Assault doesn't quite fit it. Not sure what they could do with the new Starfighter Assault, because the old one didn't really have much in the way of actual objectives. So the feminist propaganda thing, the argument they make is that, whether intentionally propaganda or not, you have a movie in which basically it's women constantly correcting men because the men are doing dumb things, or doing bad things, or need to be saved by the women. Which, if you actually look at the way the movie plays out, that is kind of like what's happening. But I would argue that it's probably less that that was the intent as a message, and more just that it just so happened that the characters in those positions, in the relative positions, were male versus female. Like, if it turned out that in The Force Awakens we had gotten Poe as the woman and Rey as a male, then it would have been a woman going after a woman. It was the fact that Poe was the character that Poe was and was in the position that Poe was in and being groomed for a leadership position. That's what made Holdo and Leia have to sort of lord over him. It wasn't that he was a male. It was the role that he played within the story. I think it's the same thing as you go across a lot of those examples of the whole women putting men in their place in Last Jedi thing. It's more coincidental that it looks like feminist propaganda than actually intentional. You know, like, somebody doesn't sit down and say, I'm going to write unless you're Chuck Wendig, you're not going to sit down and say, I'm going to write a Star Wars story that's all about just my politics. At least I would hope that most of them don't. And just from the interactions I've had with most of the Star Wars writers that I've talked to, that's not generally the thing that they do. But even they will admit, like when I talked to John Jackson Miller about some of the anti-corporate message type stuff that you get in A New Dawn, you know, just because... to begin again, what? Just because A New Dawn has that kind of message doesn't mean that he meant for it to be there, but he was writing it in an era in which that was a big thing in the news, and it just sort of influenced the storytelling. You know, the era influences your storytelling, and so does the preconceptions of an author. As long as it's not the driving force behind the story, I don't see a problem with that. It's part of what makes the stories human, necessarily. Anybody? Anybody? Oh, shit! It was either going to be the Wookiee or the turret that got me. One of the two. Let's see. Marty's mom attracted to her. What? Well, yeah, but what? Well, it's interesting because I did a sort of an experiment, something that one of the constant naysayers said was not intellectually honest, although I think that actually the experiment was, if anything, more intellectually honest than most discussions on it, which was to say, a lot of the times when people talk about when they decry the politics of the new Star Wars, they're usually talking more about Last Jedi than anything else, and they're usually talking more about diversity than anything else. So the challenge was, let's have a conversation about the politics of the new Star Wars films and what people find objectionable and where they see political messages built in, with the one caveat that diversity and representation stays out of the conversation at all. Let's see if there's other things. And it wound up being only really 3 things that people pointed out. It was Rose's very anti-top 1% kind of speech in Last Jedi. It was a possible cultural thing of trying to normalize divorce, or normalize single parents and broken homes with Kylo and Leia and Han, but I don't even really see that one. And then what was the other one? It was, the idea that the new films have more gray moral lines. So, like, if you look at the idea of, well, the Rebels and Saw Gerrera's faction, what differentiates them is their method. And there are such a thing as essentially good rebels and bad rebels, depending on how extreme you are. Doesn't that then get applied to something like terrorist groups? Aren't there terrorist groups that are less bad than other terrorist groups and that sort of thing, like a relativistic type of concept? We didn't really find much that wasn't related to diversity, which again was part of that. You know, I would have done that on a vlog or something and even talked about the whole where, you know, I wonder if part of the thing with the diversity is just the fact that in being diverse, they particularly left out those who had been overrepresented before, rather than actually being fully diverse and having all represented, including those that have been overrepresented before. But I decided not to, because you just can't have a civil conversation on that a lot of times, because people will go apeshit. You'll have your bomb throwers who don't even bother. Like, I actually did do one experiment. There was a point at which, on a forum, I made a very innocuous post that just happened to use the phrase "Last Jedi" in it, in the title of it. The innocuous post was about something completely non-Last Jedi related. I just put it in the subject line. Guess what? People went apeshit and went on their tirades against Last Jedi in the thread, in the comments, without ever reading the actual post because they saw Last Jedi in the subject title. That's how things are at this point. It's ridiculous, but there's not a whole lot we can do about it. Oh, shiza! What are my thoughts on Poe Dameron's 25th? I haven't read it yet. I'm assuming you're referring to, I'm assuming you're saying that Kare and Snap finally get married, and that completely contradicting the incredible farting wedding in Escape from Vodrin. But I haven't read it yet. I haven't read any of this week's Star Wars comics yet. I usually read them at night because the days are either busy or I find time to carve out for something like this. And even then, as always, I mean, there's the computer right here. I'm still monitoring. That's why I keep looking down. It's just that this is the dead time of day. Which works for me. It is kind of weird playing this map without having the rocket packs with everybody jumping around to the different levels of it. Oh, then yeah. So, I guess the kids in Escape from Vodrin were just high or something, or just making shit up as they went along. Although I kind of prefer that to the incredible farting wedding, because that was stupid. That was moronic. Star Wars is a family drama, it makes sense. What does? Politic? Or unless you're talking specifically about the Han-Leia separation thing. No, the comment was made that there are some who are on the very, very far social right, whose response was is the idea that, well, them separating is just another normalization of that. But even the person who said it said that it was just kind of, that's something you see every once in a while people saying, but it doesn't hold a lot of weight because Star Wars is not just family drama. Star Wars is all about crazy broken homes all the time. So, I mean, if you have a Star Wars family that just lives life happily ever after, husband, wife, kids, kind of the typical nuclear family, then that's not the norm anymore. For Star Wars, I mean, everybody's screwed up. Even in Legends, I mean, something happened to a lot of the couples that got together in Legends, too. Although I will say that from a diversity standpoint, one place where I think that they do actually need to probably do a little bit more is that so far they've been willing to touch gender and racial diversity in, and even vocal accent diversity in their films. They have not yet been willing to touch sexual orientation diversity. Granted, do we need to know the sexual orientation of characters in the films unless it actually has some relation to something that happens in the film and, you know, them being with somebody or something? No, we really don't. But they have made strides in that area in the comics, and the novels haven't touched it on film, which seems to fall under the category of, do they think that is an issue that's too much of a third rail that they won't touch it, but they'll touch other kinds? Or they just haven't done it yet? Or what? Because you could argue that no matter how diverse they're being right now, there's an entire level of diversity or type of modern diversity they haven't even really touched in the films at all, you know? It just depends on what your particular political stripe is wanting to see, right? Whether or not it's a good thing, complainable, whatever. But that's the thing. I mean, if it's going to be art, everybody's going to bring their own preconceived notions of what it should be with it and criticize it. We just have to keep in mind that we don't get to decide what it is. That's up to the people who are behind it, the creative talents, etc. Widescreen letterbox collection remastered editions. For me, I usually watch, or watched, THX remastered editions. Like, I watched the widescreen letterbox collector's edition when I had it, from 93, 94, and part of 95. Still have it, just saying. But then when I got to the point of having the widescreen letterbox edition, I was like, screw it. And I stuck with that. Or the widescreen THX remastered edition, that's what I mean. I was just thinking about where I got it. I realized that I got my widescreen letterbox collector's edition from a buddy of mine who, in high school, got his first job at Best Buy. And he helped acquire it for me because they only had a few come in. Way back when. Come on now. Speaking of VLC, I only recently realized that my my DVD burner drive for my PC is such crap. It's so just featureless that it doesn't do RCP2, which means that actually I can just stick a DVD from pretty much any region into it and play it on VLC in my computer. Because VLC doesn't work with region codes. But I didn't even think about it, you know. Do I want to stick around with... I'll do one more in this mode. I think I've hit... Well, no, I've already got the milestones, don't I? Sorry, guys. My bad. My bad. Have a blast without me. Are there skins? Not really yet. The skins and the crates that go with them and the ability to purchase them with either crystals or credits and all that extra, that's not coming until April. So right now what they've done basically is they've removed the regular crates except for the daily one. The daily one's only going to give you credits. Though we do have a couple of new appearances, new skins that show up in the collection area, but they're only for ones that you unlock through timed challenges, and they haven't put up the time challenge yet for Han or Leia. The Luke one's already up. Holy crap! How did I get 10 unopened? Oh, that's probably from when I went into the mode and you're saying go into the mode, come out. You're going to get all those different rewards from the different milestones you've already done. And wow. I don't know what just happened. That dental work I had a while back, I had to get the temporary put back on yesterday because I had accidentally popped the thing off a couple times. And every once in a while, it's almost like blowing on a bad cut or something. It just stings. And I don't know what I just did, but it was just like, oh, you're having fun playing the game, huh? Let's take a knife and just in your mouth. That kind of sucked. Have I thought about getting foreign releases of Clone Wars? Of the Clone Wars film? Actually, I haven't even looked in the Clone Wars film. I've looked at the Clone Wars TV series for some UK stuff and stuff like that. My next thing's probably going to be Just because the Three Lemons keeps suggesting it, probably get the individual 4-volume releases of the seasons from the UK. I've got some other interesting ones coming, though, of Blu-ray releases of Clone Wars from the UK that are coming from the series, because they had box sets for like seasons 1 and 2, and then seasons 1, 2, and 3 in box sets that just didn't exist over here, which is kind of cool. Okay, what do I think of Star Wars Rebels? I really enjoyed it. I thought it was better than Clone Wars. I thought the ending of it was kind of meh. I mean, I thought it was emotionally satisfying, the ending, but I'm not big on the whole let's do a bunch of force phenomenon we don't ever explain, especially when it's with weird animals kind of stuff. So the Lothwolves kind of fell flat for me, as did the, oh my god, it's paintings on a wall, but they're like animated or something. That just, I was like, no. Because I think about, okay, if this was a movie and not a cartoon, what the hell would I be looking at? Because that's the way I look at almost any Star Wars, right? You know, if this was a live-action film like the bulk of the core Star Wars universe, then what would I be looking at? What the hell am I looking at? Why are there drawn wolves running around on the wall? That don't make any sense. But that's just me. All right, time to get all my crates open and take forever. Ooh, 2 items. What do I get? Great kid. Don't get penisy. Victory pose 4. Are these all going to give me credits alongside the... His victory pose is like, what's up? I like it. Cowards emote. I think I already have this one. Is Kylo Ren cowards? Yeah, so that's just going to be the credits. Ooh, but it gave me double the credits, I think, because I already had it. That's cool. I just got that one the other day, by the way. I don't see as the diversity aspect will be seen as a bad thing for the current films. It's it hasn't negatively impacted the films per se. It's just kind of there. They will not save Han. Han is dead. It's gonna be hard enough for them to save Solo from bad reviews because of how different Ehrenreich is from Ford. They will not save Han the character from death. But I want to see a Ghost Anakin, a post-Jakku Ahsoka talk. And what would that be? Yeah, sure, why not? Lots of these are just me getting a bunch of cash because I've already got whatever the other item is that comes with it. Yeah, I think it's different, though. A single mother who's a single mother because there was no father versus a single mother because the dad disappeared or died or anything else. Come on. Lack of faith. It'd be kind of funny if the lack of faith emote said something about I'm responsible these days. I'm assuming that is a Lando. There we go. Okay. Now I'm done with all the crates. I still want to know why. I mean, it says in the update that Bespin is for a limited time for jetpack cargo. But there's no jetpack cargo at all, let alone on Bespin. So what in the hell? That sucks. That sucks. How did you figure out that it was bootleg? Out of curiosity. What's the people talking about? Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's a lot of stuff. Okay. Do I have anything? So campaign is done. Arcade still. I might actually start doing those now that everybody's already opened up. This is the kills as a hero on a multiplayer map. That is going to take me forever. In fact, I got most of those I think from Heroes versus Villains. Where am I on that stupid gun? Oh, that's interesting. So the ones you've done are now removed instead of... No? Oh, the ones you've done are now shuffled to the bottom. That's smart, because that was a pain in the ass to always have to go through those. Let's see. Jetpack as an aerial trooper for 60 seconds. I think that's new. Trigger fortified 10 times as an enforcer. Defeat 30 heroes as a special unit. Officer kills, I still have a ways to go. There we go, that's the one. Okay, so I'm still a ways away from getting that one, but I might as well stick with it for now. Why not? So, let's do... How about some Galactic Assault? Actually, no. Let's do some heroes versus villains and see if we can see how that plays on Bespin. And maybe I can show you the new Luke skin. Possibly. They said 2014? Yeah, that's definitely a problem. That would definitely be a problem. The only bootlegs I'm actually, at some point I might actually get are the bootleg that I so vehemently hate from the one that looks like the 2015 Complete Saga reissue and the so-called 5-star collection ones, because I would want to show them in the book as prominent examples of bootlegs to warn people away from them and actually show them what to look for to know that it's bullshit, rather than getting sucked into it and only being able to have a description to go by to spot them. If nothing else, I'll probably take a picture of my legitimate Independence Day 5-star collection release and include that in the book as if you see a Star Wars that looks like this, it's bogus kind of thing. Let's go with Kylo. Cowards! 5, 10, 9, 17, yeah. Wait a second. Oh, 16, yeah. Come on, players needed. Players needed. 3. Wait, 3? Yes? Okay. 2? Come on. Well, Lucas always did say it was 9... Well, always. Lucas talked about a 9-episode Skywalker saga. Of course, that was after talking about a 12-episode saga that had A New Hope as number 1, but still. Cole, if you want to try to join the match, you can. I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be adding people that require me to actually go and add or go to accept a request, because if I do that, you won't be able to see anything for the stream. But if you want to just, look for the match and try to join, feel free. And this is not doing me any good because we're just sitting here with play as needed. So let's quit that, and let's go to Galactic Assault, something where there'll be actual players. I think we've talked about this many times. I would say that the Unaltered Trilogy, if it's ever going to get a release, the Fox Entertainment assets being bought out by Disney, assuming it gets government approval, which is still pending, will be our best chance of seeing that, though it's probably going to take the people who are behind Star Wars right now, like Kathleen Kennedy, not being around anymore, because they have an intense personal loyalty to Lucas, and Lucas didn't want any earlier versions out there. Harmy's done a great service to fandom by doing the specialized editions, but they are fan-made type things, and therefore can't be legally sold. They can't be, such as licensed to use, that sort of thing. Yeah, definitely make sure you see an actual picture of the item. Although finding one that's actually sealed with a store sticker is going to be real difficult. Although, let me suggest to you, I'm going to answer his question here, if you'll pardon me for just a second. And he's back. I want to show you one. I'm going to show you one here that you can pretty much guarantee isn't going to be a bootleg when you see it. That's this one. Okay, so this is that same 2004 widescreen set you're talking about, but this is the anti-theft packaging at club stores like Costco or Sam's Club. If you can find one like this, you can pretty much guarantee that it's not going to be a bootleg, because bootleggers tended to just go with this packaging. They didn't go the full 9 and do the club packaging around it. If that helps. I actually still wish I could find the other prequel ones in Clone Wars Volume 1 and 2 in this kind of packaging, because right now I've just got the widescreen and full-screen trilogy sets like this, and I've got the, what's the other one? Revenge of the Sith widescreen. I think it's widescreen, like that. Okay. Multiplayer. Let's try Galactic Assault now. Hello, Ghost Gamer. What's that say? Me personally, no. I mean, this one's sealed up, though, still. I've got my original one from 2004 that's not sealed up, that wasn't in this. It was just in the regular packaging. And that's what I used for a while. But now, yeah, I tend to watch on the Blu-rays because it's the better picture and sound quality. Now, if I'm watching in another room, if I'm not watching on... Thank you, Ghost. If I'm not watching on, like, one of the bigger screen, like this one's a 49-inch 4K, which isn't huge, but it's the biggest we can fit on our desk, and it's the biggest one in our house. So this one, I'll watch the Blu-rays on. But, like, if I'm watching in the living room or in my office, especially my office is just a 24-inch, that PlayStation 3D display. So unless I'm watching a 3D Blu-ray or something, not really as big a deal to me. So I'll pop in a DVD version, or I'll pop in, you know, whatever to watch. Yep. I did see that. There was a Blu-ray Steelbook in some countries, but I forget which country it was. Like, I saw one a while back, and I didn't get it because it was ridiculously priced. So Progression, I just saw Progression review, but I missed the top part. So Progression, I'll hit it again here in a minute because I hit it at the beginning of the stream about an hour ago. But after this match, I'll jump back and show it again. But it's rolled out in stages, right? So the first stage has rolled out now. The second stage doesn't roll out until April. Future of the Star Wars film franchise? Well, we already kind of know, right? I mean, movies by the guys that made Game of Thrones, plus a trilogy by Rian Johnson, plus a new animated series probably under Filoni, plus a new TV series being worked on by, shit if I can remember who it was, that was announced recently. That kind of stuff. Oh, how do I feel about the new progression system? Sorry. It's less confusing, we'll put it that way. It's more linear, but... oh, Favreau, there you go. It's more linear, but it's also less confusing. So I think that it's going to be one of those ones that some will love, some will hate. I think it's all right, but that's because I've already got to a point where I have most of the cards that I wanted, and they're already epic or they're already rare. So for someone who's starting out the game brand new, that's where my question's going to be. Like, if somebody starts out brand new, how are they going to feel about it? Like, are they going to feel it's a fair progression system? And I do not know the answer to that. Oh, mother... What is he? Oh, he's shooting with the disruptor shot version of that. I like the fact... Did they used to do that? Did they used to tell you what upgrades were activated on the weapon underneath the weapon icon when they killed you? Is that new? Or is that something I just missed? I like that. And if it's old, it just means I like it, and I was too dumb to notice it before, which is a distinct freaking possibility. Come on, guys, let's go get more kills with this weapon that sucks so that it can become a weapon that doesn't suck as much. And get a milestone done.
Excellent progress.
Missed what?
The cantina.
Go. Oh, I missed the... That it told what the... Really? It told what the upgrades were. Huh. I totally didn't notice. That, or I noticed and it zipped by me and I didn't really pay attention to it ever. And the only reason I paid attention just then was because when I got shot, it had a weird ion effect to it. Well, part of it also, and I've said this on the channel, you know, I think a big part of people's reaction to Last Jedi, I mean, you got some people who are just not going to like it because they didn't like the way it went. You got some people who aren't going to like it because they don't like anything Star Wars Disney, and they're going to bitch about it. But you also have the aspect where you've got people, whoa, who, wow, that is awesome. You are covered in all kinds of crap. That's cool. You also have the aspect of Star Wars is kind of comfort food. Like, when was the last time, aside from Last Jedi, you were really surprised by a Star Wars story? It's pretty freaking rare, especially if we start going into anything but TV, right? TV sometimes takes chances, but otherwise it tends to be pretty, whoa, pretty much standard stuff. Oh, is that my team's? Okay, let's try this. No, it still blew up, so why the couldn't I shoot it and make it explode? Damn it. Anywho. But yeah, so the fact that it challenged so many perceptions, and it had so many twists and turns in it, defying expectations, took it out of that comfort food category. So for some people, they don't want something that's not comfort food. They want Star Wars to be the safe thing, not the thing that challenges their perceptions. And if they're challenged on something they expect to be safe, they're gonna be pissed on a visceral level and maybe not even realize why in some respects. Hello? Anybody? Yeah, I loved it as well. I mean, it's my favorite film my favorite Star Wars film at the moment. Although again, you know, at one time I said that about Attack of the Clones, so what the hell do I know?
Squad in the junkyard. Proceed. Scan for enemies.
You know who else didn't like that Harrison Ford wasn't in it? Han Solo. Oh! Sucks to be Han. Sucks to be Han. Uh-oh. Hello. What the fuck? And crapped out. Fantastic. They brought that back from Battlefront 1 too, didn't they? The constant disconnects. Sweet. I don't think it's the right. I think that's a little bit of a misperception. I think it's the far right. It's the alt right, especially. It's less the just general right, like moderate, just general conservatism, most of the time. There we go. Let's try this again. At least it sent me back to here instead of completely kicking me out. That's weird. I'm not hearing anything, though. Should I be hearing the typical blink, 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 blink as I'm switching between things? There we go. That was weird. There's the sound effects again. That was weird. It's like that little droid back there went into stealth mode for a second when it kicked me out of that match. I'll try Heroes vs. Villains again. I mean, that will get in. Worth a try. Worth the shot, even if it turns out not to be worth a shit, as they say. Worth a shot, not a shit. Or worth a shit, not a shot. Something like that. Ow! Not super comfy. Padded, but not super comfy. A little better. Here we go. Booyah! Just unlocked a test. Booyah. Thoughts on these? The Slipception of the Walmart release of the 6 film. Oh, okay. With the 2s. You might have to rephrase that, because now I'm like, what? Oh, hey, I can play as Luke, and I can have him in his Hoth attire, so we can see what the Hoth attire looks like. And he's actually on Hoth, so it makes sense. My God, Leia, what did you do to your hair? Actually, is that her hair in Shattered Empire? Somebody said the hair in the comics, and I didn't even put the two together. Was that the Shattered Empire comic specifically? Slipcover inside a slipcover. I'm trying to remember. I'll have to go back and look, but I can't remember. If I remember correctly, it's not a slipcover inside a slipcover. It's just a new slipcover for the Walmart reissue of Complete Saga.
He's coming.
That seems like some personal information I don't need to know about Darth Vader, okay? I really don't need to know when Darth Vader's, like, making his O face. Oh, hey, I guess I can go over here and, like, actually go after the guy I'm supposed to kill. Oh, shit! Now, here's the question. Do I fall in silence or do I fall with the scream? Because it depends on what cut of Empire I'm looking at, whether his tradition is to fall with or without a scream. I like the lighting effects, though. Let's get him to do a...
I feel the good in you.
Okay. I feel the good in you. The conflict! There is no conflict. Oh! Dead. This is the mode where I'll be able to probably get the more kills as hero and just slowly grind the crap out of it to get that last milestone done. But isn't it like 500 or something? Something ridiculous in terms of the number of characters you gotta kill as a hero in order to get that milestone done. I don't remember. I just remember I'm way away from it. Because I don't usually bother to try to use heroes in the main game. In like Galactic Assault and such. Oh, booyah! Yeah, nobody cares! I will kill you as much as I can before I die, because as long as I'm not the target, it doesn't matter.
So sad. Rey has met her defeat.
Let's see. I missed a piece, I think. Ran into the Walmart reissue of The Force Awakens? Yes. What about it? Kind of pointless that the 3D was released with more... Yeah, that's true. Well, they did the same thing, right? Because they did the reissue this holiday season that was the one that doesn't have the bonus feature. Remember last year they did the same thing. They did that special gold packaging for Christmas or the holiday season. And when they did that... I'm the target, so I'm going to stay back here. When they did that, it was also the pre-3D version, too. Which is what I discovered also with that Blue Fans, the Only at Blue Fans I just got. I'm actually not sure about the new... No, I am sure. I am sure. On the new, whatchamacallit that I just got, the new South Korean one. Because surely that one's going to have the updated discs because it is 3D. Oh, guys! Damn it! I tried to stay back here because I wasn't the because I was the target, and then they wound up all coming back from the other side. And I keep doing that. I keep hitting X like it's going to speed up respawning. And that's not what it's actually doing. All it's doing is taking me back to the character change screen that I don't need to go to. Yeah! Eat that, you bastards! Woo!
Pick him up!
Heroes versus villains is just like straight up chaos. Like there's no real strategy, it's just chaos. How do I think Lucas feels of the newer version? Also, where is the Phantom Menace 3D? Newer versions. What do you mean by newer versions? And bear in mind that Phantom Menace 3D got a wide release, but they did show the other two prequels at conventions in 3D. So those cuts exist in 3D, they just haven't put them out. But that's a decision apparently made by 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment. Maybe that will change with Walt Disney Home Video, assuming that the Fox deal gets approved. We shall see. I am hoping, but I'm not holding my breath, given the fact that they're not even releasing a 3D version of The Last Jedi in the United States. And they're not doing 3D for, like, Thor Ragnarok, so it looks like they've given up on 3D for the U.S. market. But thankfully, it's still big enough elsewhere that maybe they'll eventually give us those. But it'd be a little weird for them to do that just in, say, the U.K., but not in the U.S. market, since it's their primary market. How do I think he feels about the new trilogy? Depends on the day you ask him, right? Sometimes he's like, oh, they're so good. And other times it's like, I sold my shit to white slavers. Kind of depends. What will probably get a 4K release, JL? What specifically? Traveling to Maz's castle. Every time I see that, I can't help but think, Eureka's castle. And I don't even think I ever watched that show. It must have been on after something that I watched. And he unlocks another test for a kid that's way ahead. Booyah! Even when it's slow times, every once in a while something actually does happen. Alright, we're going to go with... I don't really care. I can do Phasma, I guess. I haven't actually tried Phasma. I don't think... Actually, I think Maul, I've got more stuff that I need to do Milestone that actually has some level of stuff done. Phantom Menace. I can't imagine that we're going to get... I mean, I would imagine we're eventually going to get them all in 4K in some form if they have the masters to scan to make that happen. Probably so. It won't be the originals, but it would be like the Blu-ray cuts probably, because there's probably an intermediate. They probably had a 4K intermediate or a 2K intermediate of those at some point. Now, see, well, different versions, I doubt. Although that would be cool. I could see them doing eventually, now that they're going to have all the rights, hopefully with Walt Disney Home Video, then doing like a big box set of like 1 through 9. But then every damn time a new film will come out, it'll be, here's another box set with all of them in it. Wait till next year and buy all that shit again. You know they'll do that. Shut up, you tactical droid. Stop being so, you know, tactical. I don't even remember off the top of my head what all these things do. Okay, there's the spinny spinny. And there's the grippy whippy.
I sense your fear.
Sense my fear? Are you a parademon? Bad Justice League joke. I would assume that I would assume that starting once that Fox deal is done, we won't see the 20th Century Fox fanfare probably ever again, because they won't have any ownership of it or licensor over it. All right, have fun, Vita. Well, as much as you can at work, right? Let's see. Yeah, it's because the TV rights, the broadcast rights, aren't part of, well, except for A New Hope, right? Aren't part of the physical distribution deal, which allows them to be totally controlled by Walt Disney Home Video instead of 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment. Again, until the deal gets finalized, and then it won't matter. Think of all the references to that deal I will have to change or update in the book. But speaking of which, for those who followed my book, A Saga on Home Video, A Fan's Guide to U.S. Star Wars Home Video Releases, which has about 300 pictures and it's about 300 pages chronicling Star Wars Home Video all the way up through Rogue One. I have decided that the next edition will be, unless it is absolutely cost prohibitive, the next edition will be full color, even if it costs more, as long as it's not cost prohibitive in how much more it costs. And then I also just bought, it's not here yet, it'll be here tomorrow. I bought a little Amazon, it's kind of like a light box. It's like a little fold-out kit that becomes a light box so that you can get even lighting with less glare and everything. And I'm going to start retaking all the photos for the next edition of the book. So strides are being made towards that for the next edition, but I'm still thinking the next edition probably won't be until 2020. Because, one, it'll allow me then to have Han Solo and Last Jedi and Episode 9 in it. But it will also allow me to have a breather once the baby comes before I actually try to jump into something like that again. Because I have a feeling come September, life will never be the same again. Especially in terms of free time. It's going. I mean, we're at, she was at 15 weeks as of last Friday, so it'll be 16 weeks this Friday. So first trimester is over. We're hoping that that means that very soon, finally, the morning sickness will be over, but she's had some pretty bad morning sickness. We've heard the heartbeat a few times. We've seen a couple ultrasounds. Next ultrasound, I think, is the one where they're going to be able to tell us gender, but we think we already know because in one of the early ultrasounds, the kid sort of flashed us, so we're pretty sure it's a boy. But going so well so far. We're tending to have doctor visits about once every 2 weeks, depending on which doctor it is we're going to, which specialist. She's considered high risk, so, you know, a lot more doctor visits to do. She was in the ER again the other day from being ill. Just like dehydrated from this morning sickness stuff, and, you know, just the heavy basically it's all morning sickness stuff, because like even in that case it was like, well, she was puking up blood. Well, she was doing that because her throat is all torn up from the stomach acid, so they gave her stuff for that. But she works in a hospital, so they're very much, you know, you need to get checked out the moment anything seems off at all, even if it's off in a way that for pregnancy can tend to be normal. So far so good. We will have, in September, we shall have either a baby Leia or baby Cade. One or the other. As opposed to like baby Maul or baby Phasma or something. I just got to make sure that the kid doesn't destroy my collection while it's like sitting in the on reachable shelves or something. But yeah, and that sort of brings up the question of what we introduce the kid to Star Wars with. It'll probably be either Rebels or the Clone Wars or whatever the new show is. I mean, it probably won't be the live-action films, more than likely.
Target mark.
Go, go, go! I mean, most of the stuff is digitized. It's just, I don't want the physical items that are an actual collection to get damaged. Which is another reason why I keep thinking I should sell my Legends book collection, but except for the signed stuff, but where would I ever get any decent money out of that collection? And it's not like I could just ship the whole thing to somebody if they bought it outright. We're talking like needing a moving truck for that kind of shit. So, I don't know. Probably home video stuff will wind up on higher shelves. The books will wind up on lower shelves, except the ones that are absolutely like signed keepers and stuff. Especially if the timeline ends the way I'm expecting it to after the next edition. So. I don't know. Probably the original first. Neck and like right by my ears. Oh, die! Oh crap, you can't do that while you're in the air. I thought you could do that while you're in the air. The little spinny spinny. Oh, I am the target. Run away! Oh, okay, good. I wasn't even paying attention. My word, when the kid reaches a terrible tooth, it might mess up the collection. Possibly. Did I get the Faces Laserdisc set? Faces Laserdisc set. There wasn't one in the US. There's no such thing as a Faces Laserdisc set in the US. In other regions there were. In the US there wasn't. They were just individual releases. So what have they been doing with... I haven't really been paying attention to the Hasbro, the HasLab thing, because just I don't collect that stuff. So what have they been doing that's crazy? I have been doing more Kickstarter stuff though. I mean, I did so my first Kickstarter was Sin Shake Sin's album Lunatics and Slaves, and then I've done the Kickstarter for the new Star Realms card game stuff, and for the Nemesis miniature slash board game, and then I just did one for actually a book that I contributed to, but I want to get other stuff that ties into it. So doing that, but no HasLab stuff. Yeah, JL, there was in the UK there was one. In other regions there was one. It's just that in the US there was no such thing as a 1995 Laserdisc set. They had just done the definitive collection in '93. The next one, in fact the last one, wouldn't be until '97, but in '95, for some reason, it was individual releases only over here. See, that's the thing. You don't need to transfer those to DVD, though, because that essentially is what the 2006 and 2008 bonus discs are. They are the THX Remastered Definitive Collection Master, because that is what THX Remastered was. From '93, that same '93 master just transferred to DVD. So if you have the widescreen version of either a '95 set or a '93 set, I mean, that is what those are. Okay, see, I saw the yak face thing. I just didn't realize that was a new thing. I figured that was something they were talking about since the beginning of the announcement. Like, I have not been following it at all. I think it's an intriguing way to go about funding big projects like that, though. Although, isn't it limited to the U.S. right now, so it's kind of stifling some of its potential purchaser base? I mean, for what it is and for the price, for the size of it, I'm not surprised at all that it's $500. But that's a lot to drop on something like that unless you're like a hardcore super duper collector. Ah!
Commander identified a calculated risk and loss.
I'll be the next target. Oh shit! And this is the last one. This is the last one. This is for oh shit! This is for all the marbles. This is for all the corn. I don't know, all the whatever. I missed a couple there. Nice. So they're doing something kind of like the European collection. It's kind of like what they do then for the Blue Fan stuff then, where you got like a broker kind of that's willing to make like group orders and stuff like that. Cool. Because that's one of the things that I've been having trouble with is I'm going to have to keep track of the Blu-ray forums, the Blu-ray.com forums. Forums. This is not where Hondo is. Because I want to make sure to get in on the group buys for the one-click sets of the Blue Fan stuff, so I'm not paying out the nose for them every time. Do I think it was a box office success despite the backlash? I mean, it was a box office success, and that was a critical success. It just wasn't necessarily a fandom success. But they gotta change their approach to China. Granted, China wasn't ever as big on Star Wars as other regions tended to be anyway. But seriously, you put out the movie in one of the most bootleg-prone countries in the world last, or almost last? That's stupid. Of course, the people who are really excited to see it will already have bootlegged it already. Already? Yes, I did say already twice. Shit! Shit! Ah, dang it. I came up here not to die, and instead died. Physical media completely gone? I don't see that anytime within probably I mean, I see it happening at some point, but probably not within maybe the next 5 to 10 years. Because we still need the digital high-speed infrastructure there in big parts of the U.S., let alone worldwide. Physical media will still be around. May not be as big a part of the market, certainly still going to be around. Fear is my ally. Defeat 5 enemies with spin attack in a round. You got to do it in a single round. So that's going to be something that's not going to be heroes versus villains. Traveling back to Maz's castle again? I was just there! Alright, we'll try something else. To Maz's castle. I know, I'm just making shit up as I go along. And yes, Kenneth. if you're still watching, you were right. Last night, that call that came in, the first one I didn't know who it was, but the call eventually, the second was my wife calling about a dinner. So I was like, "Woo, time to go." If I don't catch her when she's on her way home to get dinner, then I'll have to be the one to go back out and get it if we're getting something out. Ugh. Be interesting if KB comes back. Sounds kind of absurd, but yeah, be interesting if they came back. Even if it's just as an online thing. I gotta say, though, I'm taking great advantage of the Toys R Us, Babies R Us thing going out of business. I haven't gone to Toys R Us and got anything discounted because that's not happening until Thursday, apparently. But we got all kinds of discounted baby stuff from Babies R Us. Like we got a little playpen. We got the little stroller that turns into a car seat that turns into a carrier. We got ourselves a high chair. We got all kinds of stuff from Babies R Us going out of business. Okay, this is not good. The server be like, the server is dying. You say legacy toy. I know that's not what you're talking about, but that's one thing I would like to do now, especially if it turns out to be a boy, is to get the old Cade Skywalker action figure, because I never did get that. That's one of the few action figures I would have gotten, but I was just like, nah. And of course now they're not expensive loose, but getting the comic pack itself still sealed is a bitch. So if anyone's looking for like a baby shower gift that has nothing to do with the baby, when's it over? I will be wrapping it up probably within about the next half an hour, and because then I'm going to have to go back to start fielding some emails and stuff like that for the night, and then I'll probably play again sometime later this week. I'm not sure if it'll be on stream or not. It's just a question of whether I'll be appearing on the stream or just appearing as online. And if I'm just as appearing as online, same thing. You can always just join the, see if you can join the match. All right, let's see. Let's do some Starfighter. That is always fun. Dang, my head hurts. A baby shower meant showering the baby. We did get like a little, like, it's kind of like a car seat, but it's designed so that you sit the kid in it while you're giving them a bath so that you can limit like water level around them and stuff like that and have them not hurt themselves in a tub when they're really, really little before they can kind of maneuver themselves. My wife got a baby on board tag, although I'm probably going to be the one driving them around the most. I have to baby-proof the back of that brand new friggin' car. Bonus, you just got into a wreck that totaled your car. Yes, you have payments for the next few years, but you have a new car. Congratulations, baby vomit. Time to Scotch guard that crap. I like the Interceptor more, but I think I've got more stuff I need to get done with the fighter, so we'll use the fighter. I was not of the right age group for Drake and Josh, so I never saw a single episode of Drake and Josh. Or Kenan and Kel, to be honest. The only reason I know Kenan and Kel is from, oh god, what is that show called? Or movie called? Keanu was my first introduction to them as a team. And then Get Out. And Get Out was crazy. Get Out is kind of like one of those movies like Fight Club where once you see it the second time, everything seems like it fits together. Whew. Destroy the Corvettes. So basically whoever made this is a Ford fan, I guess, more of a Mustang fan. I can see that. I was a Mustang fan. I had a Mustang for a while until it got totaled. That one got totaled when my wife was driving it years ago. And my... Oh, shit! Woo! Woo! And my Rio got destroyed when I was driving it. Atlanta area, not so good on cars. Attack the Corvette. Screw you, Bumblebee.
Good work. Our TIE bombers finished their attack. Rebel blockade runner eliminated.
When there's no music, because, you know, the stream would get dinged for the music being used, the sound of the TIE fighters gets annoying over time. I just say. Oh, crapola. Woo! Whee! Stay away from me. Woo!
That was too close. Pay attention.
Ah, screw it.
Only one remains.
I want to kill you. Nope. Dead. Now, aren't they supposed to also allow you to do hots? Yes, you are. You can hot swap your cards now. So if you want to switch which star cards you have, you can hot swap them. But can you upgrade them mid-flight? I'm not sure that I ever actually cared about hot swapping, so maybe you could before. I didn't think you could. I think that's actually part of the 2.0 update. I don't know who you are, but you are surrounded in a white little thingy. Boom!
Clear out those mines.
Whee! Dead. Here we go. Long distance death. Dead. Wait, there's a Bambi too? Bambi 2. Your mother's a frickin' zombie now. Created by Robert Kirkman.
This is going to be another victory for the Empire.
Oh! No! That's it! That's it! Okay, we've got it. We got it. Somebody needs to go back and make a redo. Hey, Dylan. They need to go back and do a remake of Bambi 2 now and have it actually be Bambi's mother coming back as a zombie, but then do the Cranberry song Zombie as the theme, except turn the word zombie into Bambi. Bambi, 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 Bambi. Yes! I probably got way too excited about that, but I think that'd be funny as hell.
Our TIE bombers completed their attack run.
Scar the children. That's what I always... Wait, no, that's not what I always say. That's the opposite of what I always say. Oh! I bumped it. I took the hit that I was given, then I bumped again, then I bumped again and said... How do I get back there too? Anyway. It is a semi-charmed life in the Empire. Which just caused In the Empire to pop into my head from the Phineas and Ferb special.
2 mines remain.
Oh, sorry! You're on our side this time. We paid your bills this time. My bad, Mr. Boba Fett. Oh! Oh! You know what gets me, Harry? Because you seem to appreciate Semi-Charmed Life. They will play all these extended, like, full versions of songs on Sirius XM, but I have yet to hear, I think, at least on Pop Rocks, the new channel that actually has some pretty good, like, old 90s stuff, I have yet to hear them actually play, even after dark, the full version of Semi-Charmed Life. Of all the songs, they won't play the full version. They only play that bastardized radio cut of that song. That irks me. It is a pet peeve.
I'm almost done. The area is clear.
So when it comes on, I like totally sing it by myself. And it turns out that it takes just about as long as the entire rest of the song does. To do the part that they cut out. If you start right where they cut it out. Facts you never needed to know, brought to you by...
Looks like the last job I'll be taking for a while.
Django, is that you? Oh, wait. No, sorry, Boba. My bad.
Target the sensor clusters. Once they're down, we can do real damage.
I think I missed what Dylan just said, if you might want to say that again. Let's see, Bambi's mom is a Force ghost.
Reinforcements have arrived. Make sure they get through.
Ah, okay, I didn't realize that was the Animaniacs guy doing it. Yep. I'll no longer be the weakest of the Darths. That was a fun special. I've never seen any other Phineas and Ferb. I haven't even watched the other Phineas and Ferbs on the home video release. Because they got some other episodes on it.
Well done. Our TIE bombers made it through.
I always like the, oh, we're doing upgrades now, which pretty much explains the frickin' Inquisitors who always, you know, when you can turn a lightsaber into a helicopter blade, you've upgraded just a little too much. I don't think I've watched hardly any of the Disney sequels. I think maybe I've seen one, maybe, of the animated stuff. I just saw like the main theatrical ones, and that was it.
The pleasure is all mine.
Ah, there you go. Now I see it. Bambi 2.
Perfect.
This time,
Keep
it's
dismantling the
personal.
sensor on its lower hull. It will cripple their defenses.
Bambi 2. Now who's for dinner, bitch? Fire! Yep, dead. I don't even remember what I needed to do with him, so I was like, whatever. Not here. We've had some crazy storms, but that's about it. Alright, out. I'm looking out the back door. We've got some very thin, very tall Georgia trees in our backyard that are very close to the house, so we were kind of eyeing them a little bit concerned as they were swaying in the wind the other night. But no tornado here. Tornado nearby, but no tornado here. So.
Finishing blow. Target the rear engines.
How long is a deer's life cycle anyway? Like, can you actually get to a Bambi 5, or would it be like Bambi is so old now that she has died of old age?
They may win a few battles, but the war is far from over.
Spoiler alert, Imperial Lady. The war is pretty much done. You're screwed. For a moment there, I thought that little unrealized hologram was trying to show me my baby again. Just saying. Oh, that's cool. So it'll show you if you play as different things throughout the course of a match, it'll show you all the different ones and the XP you got on each one. That's kind of cool. The XP, by the way, to level up each of them, or to unlock and the levels required and stuff to unlock the different cards and everything vary depending on which unit we're talking about. It's not like the same for, you know, say TIE Silencer as it is for a fighter, or as it is for a specialist trooper, or whatever. Alright, this will probably be the last match right here, because that'll get us close to the 2-hour mark, and that'll wrap us up. Still dead, it's still barely, I mean, I'm not seeing anything new coming up, but I got some emails that I want to send out before too late. Fighter intercept. Still got to do fighter because I still need to get some more fighter crap done. I think I've got Yoda done, but the other ones I don't out of these. It's been too long since I've actually cared about playing the game to actually pay attention. Starting his Arc 170 in 4, 3, 2, 1. And so it begins.
Stop them from firing on the Venator's bridges.
Whee!
Get in there.
I love the sound of the 170s. What if you turned it? What if you took an X-wing and you strapped its engines onto a fly's ass? That's the sound of a 170. Whoa! Oh! Kills them all! They're droids, you don't even have to feel guilty about it. Just kill them all. And wow, that sucked. Let's finish. Oh, balls. Okay, never mind. I'll let you go. I'll never let you go unless I'm about to get my ass kicked. Kylo Ren versus Thanos. You give Thanos the Infinity Gauntlet, he wins. He did kill half of life in the universe at one point with a thought. Oh, scheiße.
Eliminated. Our Unabomers are targeting our ships.
Yep. Yeah, it's a great design. Getting shot while I'm trying to read. It's like I'm going to school in Chicago or something. I'm being shot while I'm trying to read. Oh, did he just make a Chicago gun violence joke? Yes, I did. Because that's what happens when you actually follow socially relevant topics. Hey, there you go. Ah! All right, Dylan. Then, so which one are you talking? Delta 7A, which would be like in Attack of the Clones, a Delta 7B, like in Clone Wars? Or are we talking an Actis Interceptor, an ETA 3, ETA 2? Yeah, ETA 2. I think it is. From Revenge of the Sith.
Much appreciated.
You could have the Twilight, but then you would have to keep crashing it. Like as a hero ship. Probably if it's the one I'm thinking of that's all over YouTube. I mean, it's not, or all over Facebook. Like not one that I actually have intentionally watched, but it was there. Luke Skywalker X-Wing. There is a Luke Skywalker X-Wing. It's one of your hero ships. It just isn't on all maps. But it's one of your hero ships. In fact, I think it is actually on all maps now. It just wasn't at one point. But I will try to do that one if I get up enough points.
Free Republic cruisers inbound. Run interference for them.
Run interference for them. What is this, freaking football? What is this, hockey? I actually get to go to a hockey game soon, which I didn't think was going to happen once the Thrashers left the Atlanta area, but we'll be seeing my hometown in a game, like a minor league hockey kind of game, soon. Yeah, right there, Luke Skywalker. I thought it was a myth. Nope, he's right there. He's dead, it's just he could be a Force Ghost now.
Take it out.
Bastard! Round and round. My guns will find a way, just give it time. There we go.
Republic cruisers are key strategic assets. We need to defend them.
That You're a Monster thing came up a lot in those recent videos. Either right before or right after I got my tooth dealt with. I forget. I remember thinking that, wow, I was a little punchy whenever I did those videos. That was weird.
Hyena bombers have initiated an attack run. Stop them.
Maybe. If I can see him.
Repair needed.
Whee! Leave my friend alone! Oh, there's the...
Stop.
There's the things to blow up right there.
We've lost one of our cruisers.
You didn't lose it. I mean, it's probably still down there in pieces if you really want it. And we know where it is.
Damaging our forces. Stop them.
Whee! Ooh, I didn't get hit. Solid. Kenny, what? Kylo Ren's Spec Passeltong. I don't know what the f you just said. Oh, parcel tongue. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Why would he? I'm assuming it doesn't exist in the Star Wars universe, so... The real question is you find some kind of reptilian race and ask if they can, like, can the Trandoshans speak it? Because he's closer to that. You know who else speaks fluent parcel tongue? UPS and FedEx. They have parcels all over the place, and they talk about them regularly, so I'm assuming they're fluent in parcel tongue. And that means it's a language that they're not, like, molesting my package. Oh, that has a double meaning. My bad. Like, I was thinking molesting my package at UPS or something. That still didn't sound any better. What can Brown do for you, if you know what I'm saying? Woo, okay.
Time to make a last stand.
Yikes. Whee!
Detecting an enemy capital ship moving in.
Beep beep beep. Come on there. Come on. Oh, son of a hoe. Oh, dead. Do I finally have enough points to get... Yes. And Luke is already in play. I'll wait here for a second and see if Luke pops back into play, because if he does, I'll show you what the Luke actually plays as. But I won't sit here too long. If it doesn't come up within about the next 20 seconds, I'll jump out and then I'll just try again next time. Boo, 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 boo. Now I'm hitting X, 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 X. Freeform lost the cable rights to... Oh. I've never actually watched Freeform, but then again, I don't watch cable anymore. Only thing I was planning on watching on Freeform is Cloak and Dagger, because I'm a big Marvel Cinematic Universe guy. Though we're still in the middle of this season of Jessica Jones right now. Which I would say is the best of the Netflix series, by the way. Dark, screwy, twisted, best. Although, I miss Kilgrave. I miss David Tennant being part of the show. Wow,
Shields are down. They're targeting the engine.
Oh! Good, Doc? Nope. Flash? Good. Haven't watched the last few episodes yet. Gotham? Meh. Gotham had a decent first season. I think Gotham's kind of crap now. It's better this season than it was in some previous seasons, but that didn't say much. Gotham sort of lost its way. And I don't mean the city, I mean the show. Alright, and crash so we can see if Luke is available, because otherwise this match is going to end before I get a chance to do it. Damn it! Come on, Luke! Come on, Luke! That's going to be the hardest free part of being able to upgrade most of your hero units. To be able to actually get to play as them, because you can't upgrade them without playing as them anymore. Come on! Then again, if you're not playing as them, what's the point in upgrading? Because you won't be able to use it anyway. Come on! Luke, die! I want to play as Luke. Come on. JL was asking about Luke. Let's do this. Come on. There we are. Oh, see? As soon as I said JL was wanting to see it, the game's like, okay, man, here you go.
I'm going in.
That's what he said.
Bombers from completing their attack run.
So he's got like a use the force focus kind of thing. To focus in on one particular target. He's got a repair, and he's got a buff. Or actually, no, it's not a buff. It's a missile. My bad. It's Poe that's got the buff.
Can't lose another.
Some of the ladies watching the stream are like, "Oh, Poe in the buff? Oh, tell me more." Not in the buff. He's got a buff. Oh, yes, he does. You know what? Why are you not letting me kill you? Come on.
We can't lose this fight. Keep the beam weapon operational. Protect the Venator engines.
There we go. I don't know why it was so hard for me to get a good beat on that guy. Protect the Venator's beam weapon.
Let's keep it that way.
Luke's flying around here being like, my daddy was a pilot in the Clone Wars. Daddy! Daddy! Where you at, Daddy? Kaboom! Did I just friggin' kill Boba?
Catch us up.
Yep, says destroyed hero ship. Woo-hoo!
Shields are offline. The engines are exposed.
The engines are exposed. Oh, I hate it when my engines are exposed. You know what I'm saying? Gotta be careful with that kind of stuff now. Especially if you're doing it in a public place. They don't like that anymore. They take your ass right to jail. Woohoo! At least I got to finish as Luke, I guess. Have some experience points for him. Damn, that match took longer than I expected. I thought it was going to end a couple minutes before the 2-hour mark, and no, went a couple minutes after. Look, it's an ultrasound! I'm seeing ultrasounds everywhere I look now. Ow. 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 I do not know. I do not know. I could tell you probably this week, maybe. Kind of depends. Depends on what else is going on. This Friday's a little packed for me. Tomorrow, not so much. Weekend, probably. Maybe one day on the weekend, I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot that keeps me from coming back to it. All this other stuff to do, and the game not really drawing me in as much. But the new progression system, at least to play around with it a little bit, get a feel for it, and whatnot, so I can talk about it intelligently on Cloud City Casino, probably will lead me to do another stream sometime soon. But I'm not sure how many after that before the next phase of their rollout, which won't happen until April. All right. And 15,000 credits that I can't use to do anything anymore. And 140 crystals that I can't use to do anything right now. Which came from milestones, by the way. I never bought any. And 80 crafting parts that I can't do anything with anymore. That's right. Yeah, so right now it's just a matter of waiting. The only currency now that matters is skill points. Once you earn yourself a skill point by leveling up one of your dudes. There we go. Yeah, of course they're all still marked again. Why the frickin' A not? But yeah, in case you were wondering, since you'd asked, let me show you that real quick before I go. There you go. So there's your Luke. R2-D2 repair Jedi Instincts, Obi-Wan's guidance. Obi-Wan's guidance is the torpedoes. They track it without needing a target lock. They deal high damage. R2-D2 repair is just regular repair. Jedi Instinct is basically that immediate lock-on thing. kind of like you got with Kylo Ren and others. And then from a star card perspective, there's only one that I haven't unlocked yet, but they're pretty standard. It's basically, you know, health, regeneration, power of boosters, power of regular weapons, power of torpedoes or damage of torpedoes, and then things like refresh times and things to just slightly make his abilities better. I mean, there's nothing really... None of the star cards are really make or break for a particular hero ship, so I always just use, you know, I'll load up primary weapon damage, health, pretty much it. Not a whole lot to it. All right, folks, but that's it. That is the first day of the first part of the rollout of the new progression system. If you never saw the old progression system, I detailed that a little bit on the last stream for those who were curious about what is replacing or what is being replaced at this point. As always, you can find on this channel from the Star Wars Home Video Library my Fantasy Flight Games reviews and other content, much of which is related to Star Wars, although things like Nate's favorite deck building games are decidedly non-Star Wars stuff. You can hear me podcast-wise at StarWarsReport.com on either Star Wars Beyond the Films with Mark Hurleman or Cloud City Casino with Michael Morris, which is a Star Wars gaming podcast, if you're curious about that. You can subscribe through iTunes and stuff like that. My book, A Saga on Home Video, A Fan's Guide to U.S. Star Wars Home Video Releases, is available on Amazon. My Patreon is patreon.com/NathanPButler with some exclusive items to be found there. And my Star Wars Timeline Gold that will probably have its last release ever later in 2018 is over at StarWarsFanWars.com/timeline. It is the most comprehensive Star Wars chronology available anywhere. I'll be sad to see it go, but I don't see how I'm ever going to have the time for that and a child. So we shall see. With that, I'm going to head out of here. Thank you all for watching. Have fun with the new progression system as it rolls out. We'll have to wait until April, really, though, to see how it all fleshes out when they finally give us those cosmetics and bring microtransactions back into play. See, I almost got through stuff. All right, but thank you for watching, and I will catch you later.